Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this Wednesday afternoon's webinar, weekly webinar. Today we're going to be talking about changing your life in 5 days, guaranteed. So you probably have a lot of questions about how we're going to do that, and but today we're going to take our time again to make sure that we go step by step on really what's happening in our training class here. And you'll see that we actually have our training class that's starting just next week. For those of you who are first time on our webinars, my name's Eric Auger. I'm the Director of Research and Development here at American Business Systems, and just certainly want to welcome you here. If you are a first time guest with us today, we want to make sure that you're hearing us so that you'll find out from those that have participated in the past. We're going to ask you to raise your hand. So if you don't have to turn up your speakers there, we want you to click on that little button right there where it says like it has a hand here, and so I see the hands going up right away. So Barbara, it's good to have you here this afternoon. It looks like we have Sam, good to have you here. Monica, Deanna, Ali, good to have you here. Bart, good to have you here. So apparently my voice is coming through, but if not, you can see right down at the very bottom there is our phone number. For those that might need to dial in and call in and hear us. But again, you can see that little hand, and apparently all those hands have gone up, and we're going to continue to keep moving on here through our introduction here. So again, folks, we want to tell you about who we are here at American Business Systems. First of all, I'll let you know that we have this past January celebrated 20 years of being in the business of medical billing. Not just any franchise, not just any opportunity, but very specifically in medical billing and helping folks just like yourself, husband, wives, teams, partnerships, work either from home or from very different places all over the country. So if you'd like to open up your own medical billing office somewhere outside of your home, you're certainly welcome to do that. But our biggest drive is that you can have something for you and your family. So just as you can see these families here, we've been helping, again, folks just like yourself, be able to work from home and have a family type business, entrepreneurship in medical billing. What is medical billing? Well, we're going to take you on a tour of that today, as you can see here on our screen. It all starts with our really award-winning type of platform here, of this platform called iClaim and EMRX. And certainly if you haven't seen that yet, you might want to just consider taking a demo of our system. We'll show you all about that. But it is a web-based online system to help you do the billing for those doctors. Again, if this is your first time with us this afternoon, we want to draw your attention to our website. It is absystems.com. Certainly go out there. You can find all about us here underneath this section here, the business package, all the information about the different services. A lot of people ask, do I only get this iClaim service? No, you're going to get everything that you see here on the screen. And then go to that place where it says income potential. You'll certainly learn a lot about what you can do with just one or two doctors there doing the medical billing for those doctors. For more in depth, you want to go to those big old orange buttons right there. That will get you to our virtual brochure. For those that are really digging in and doing their due diligence, this is where you're going to want to end up going. So you're going to want to go through the opportunity, the getting clients sections, and you can see through each of these sections there are subsections for you to go through. There are videos for you to listen to, lots of information for you to read, and then at the end of each of these sections there is someone that you can actually speak to, an ABS licensee already that has already been in the business. So it's always good to hear from those folks. A lot of people ask us about the Better Business Bureau. Well, so you can see here clearly that we are still holding and maintaining an A+ rating. We are very serious about keeping up with our services and with our support. The only way to do that is to maintain our support on our end, to make sure that we can support you even on the Better Business Bureau as an A+ rating. So go check us out there at Better Business Bureau in the Fort Worth area. For those that would like to come by and visit with us, there are a couple of different ways you can do that. Well, number one, you can come by and visit us at our office here at 5751 Kroger Drive in Keller, Texas. Keller is just a little suburb north of Fort Worth, so we'd love to you can come by and visit with us. and look at our offices. And as Patrick has said before, you'll find desks and people at desks and telephones, and so we're a real operating company. And again, like I said, been like that for at least 20 years now. If you'd like to, you can maybe even come join us at one of our training classes and just visit with us there. Our next training class, as you can see here, April the 7th through the 11th, is completely sold out. Now, I've been told, even though it's sold out and you're really wanting to get in, there are some possibilities that we could possibly squeeze you in. So if you really are interested in getting started, and April's the only time that you can make it, you must contact us today or tomorrow just to make sure. But for those that can't make the April training, you'd like to come to our May training, it is May the 19th through the 23rd. Now, real briefly, just to kind of get you to understand the importance of these training classes, we hold these every 6 to 7 weeks. Now, our next training class will not be until July. So if you miss either this April class or this May class, the year will be half over. So folks, you want to get into one of these earlier classes because there are so many things that are still happening this year in medical billing. So if you can't make this April training, be sure to try to start talking to us about the May 19th through the 23rd training classes that we have coming up. I want to introduce you to our founder and CEO of American Business Systems, Patrick Phillips. Patrick is not only a speaker, but an author. He certainly speaks at all of our training classes. Very unusual for the CEO and the founder of a company to participate in any training classes, but Patrick certainly likes to have his hands on in those times, and we'll talk about that today. But these two books that I'm showing you online right now, both can be found on Amazon.com. The How to Reprogram Yourself for Success has been out there for quite some time, but the Cash Crunch to Cash Flow book is a marketing tool book for you as a licensee. But you can still get a copy of that. Talk with us here at ABS. Maybe one of your reps can certainly arrange getting a copy of that to you. Not only is he an author of books, but he is a specialized, I'm really trying to think of the right word there for author for the BC Advantage magazine. Now, folks, this BC Advantage magazine is the largest billing and coding magazines that is here in the United States. Now, this magazine article just came out. As you can see down here at the bottom, it says April and May of 2014. And he's already working on the next article that'll be coming out in the next section of BC Advantage. We do have copies of this in a PDF format, so again, if you'd like to get a copy of this, please ask us, and we'll certainly have a copy sent to you via email. So let's get Patrick on the line this afternoon. I know he's going to be joining us via his webcam there. So Patrick, it's good to have you here this afternoon.
Thanks, Eric. We've got a good crowd here today, don't we? It looks like a lot of interest right now in our business, and rightfully so. Healthcare is just booming right now.
It is. We've talked about for at least for us, it doesn't seem like anything's really slowing down. The economy may be slowing down, but not on our end.
It's always a pleasure to do these webinars to educate people a little bit more. Folks, we're a little different. Most companies will give you a big long sales pitch today. We're just going to show you what it's really like to learn in 5 days something that can change your life, and that is a brand new business. We do that in, yes, 5 days, but they're pretty intense days, aren't they, Eric? I mean,
they are. And
yeah.
And a matter of fact, I sent out an email today to remind folks, come see why we don't have a rah-rah session type of training class that some other folks might have. And I think they're going to get a good taste of it. Now, folks, really before we jump in here, before we get to the next slide, let me remind you that on your control panel there is a place where you can literally ask us questions. So if you'll go to that little section over there where it has a place to ask questions, feel free at any time during the webinar, at any time, ask your question. Now, we can monitor those questions. If we know we're about to answer those questions in a couple of slides, we'll wait for those. If we can't get to all your questions, we'll certainly get to those through to your ABS reps. But go ahead and start throwing in your questions right now. But Patrick, go ahead and moving on to this next slide. When anybody's starting a new business, there are so many things to really think about. And one of those is how are they going to get trained? So that's really what we're going to be talking about today. So you want to get started about talking about really the different types of training that people can get for medical billing.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff out there on the internet. I mean, people who've done their due diligence and just Googled a few terms can find, I mean, oodles. Is that a word? I guess. Anyway, it's lots
Yeah, that's a good word.
choices out there on the internet. As far as getting involved in medical billing and coding, there's courses at your local college that you can take. There's online courses. There are all kinds of books, of course, that you can order that tells you about all those things. So really, when it boils down to it, people just have a decision to make. There's a path here that you can take to learn about this business that includes, of course, medical billing schools and courses and things like that. Or there's taking the path of learning from American Business System, who's been doing this for 20 years and has taught a lot of people how to do that. Oh, I'm getting all kinds of messages here. Okay, sorry, I have to turn my phone down here.
That's okay. Well, talking about that, let's first talk about that first one there, the medical billing schools. I know that I get questions, and all of us here at ABS, we all get questions about, well, even if I start this medical billing business with American Business Systems, do I have to go to a school? So let's talk about what we have found about the cost and the time it takes to get these diplomas and degrees and all this kind of stuff here.
Now, speaking of a diploma, by the way, folks, when you come through our training, we're going to give you a diploma as good and as valid as any diploma out there, because there is no official government-sanctioned training or certification to be a medical biller or coder for that matter. You can become a certified professional coder, which we have one of those on our advisory board, by the way, but you don't have to know that much about the coding, as you'll see as we go into this a little bit further. The nice thing is that if you want a diploma, you don't have to even wait 6 months. In 1 week, you can come down here and get one. Now, all that is, of course, is just a beginning, of course. You have lots of study and ongoing things that you need to learn about the business that you will learn on our private online site for licensees, which has a lot of recorded webinars and things that you can watch. But yeah, I thought this chart was very interesting, Eric, here from the Allied Health Schools. I guess they have a course in medical billing and coding.
They do, and you can see here, we're going to take a look at two different ones. I mean, folks can get a diploma. It's going to take them anywhere between, 3 to 6 months to get that. And these are their costs. This is not what we've kind of dreamed up here. These are the costs that, and again, people can go to this particular website down there and see that. But again, Patrick, for 6 months, now this is a diploma cost, and then they have something called an associate's degree as well, and that takes a little bit longer. That's a 2-year class there, Patrick. So you want to guess about what it's going to cost to get that associate's degree?
I would say $24,200 because it's right there on the screen. In fact, I think your figure there, just so people know we're not fudging here, I think it's off by $200. See that $15,500? It's actually $15,300 in their chart there.
That's correct. We can certainly make that update change. We
put those things in there for people who are looking for things that are wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're out by $200 there. So,
right.
But anyway, folks, this is the cost, and this is the time that it's going to take you to get to those positions, and then the average of what they're going to make there, Patrick. This is where it's interesting. The next couple of slides are going to validate what we're talking about here, but this is just really basically for someone to get a job. Talk about that kind of salary base.
Well, to go for 2 years, let's say, I'm assuming that's what you'd have to do, get to your associate's degree to make that kind of money. But it's just under $40,000. Now, Eric, and we know from what our licensees tell us that it only takes about one doctor to make anywhere from $25,000 to $35,000 a year in revenue. So, with 2 doctors, you're making a whole lot more money than somebody who's gone 2 years. And we have people who get those two clients, within the first 6 months or 9 months of starting their business, going through our training. So you don't have to go through all that if you don't want to.
Yeah, we're just showing you folks again what we've found through our research, and again, to really validate. This is, you can see down at the very bottom, we can show them there, Patrick, that this was updated the 31st of March 2014. So this is what's called the pay scale. You can go find it out there on the internet. It's called payscale.com, and just type in medical biller salary, and this is what you're going to get. So really, that's where that sweet spot is. You can see down there at the bottom, it's a total pay of $22,174 to $41,762, right there in that median range there. So that's what to expect if you're trying just to get a degree in medical billing.
Yeah, so what happens is folks go through all this training thinking, oh, I'm going to go out and find a job inside of a doctor's office doing medical billing. Well, you're looking at $14.48 per hour is what they say up here is the actual average wage of somebody that's doing this kind of billing. Folks, there are licensees who've telling us that they're making $70, $80, $90 an hour because you see, instead of working for somebody else, you're working for yourself, and you get to keep all the profits that are involved.
Well, Patrick, read that last little sentence there right after that $14.48 per hour.
Most people move on to other jobs if they have more than 20 years experience in this career. Well, I should hope so.
Yeah. So again, just
today's
kind of
world,
looking at,
if you hold a job more than 2 years in today's world, people look at you like, what's wrong with this person,
So here is the growth that one can expect by working for a doctor. So we've got 0 to about 20 years here, Patrick, and there's what a $4,000.
Yeah, it's only about $4,000 difference there in there. Well,
yeah.
Let's see, 28 to 6,000, from 28,000 to 34,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, folks, I mean, there's not. We're just showing these are real stats. These are real statistics that are out there that anybody can go out there and research on. So again, we want to talk to you about the training, because you're going to get training from either a medical billing school, or again, you can come get training with here at American Business Systems. And really, the difference is, one, you're going to be an employee. On the other hand, you can be a business owner with American Business Systems. So let's start talking about this particular path here about American Business Systems and all the different solutions that we have, Patrick.
Okay, before we move on, Eric, I want to make sure people are clear as to why we went through all of the pricing, the money that can be made if you found a job using that previous path, because we have to compare that. Some people may not have done their math and have researched this enough on our website to know through our virtual brochure that there's a lot of money to be made. So I'm going to give you a real life example. Eric, you heard the phone call that I recorded with this licensee this week. Just talked to one of our licensees, Scott Mathewson, who said he had just signed up a sleep center and that they were doing about an average of $80,000 a month in billing. All right, now let's take that times what he is charging them. 6.25% is what he got the account for, and that is that's exactly around the figure, $5,000 a month. Now, folks, this is just one account. He already has 2 others. This is his 3rd account, and he's going to make about, what is that, 5 times 12 months? That's $60,000 a year from this one account. Why would you choose the path that goes and makes $38,000 a year when you could have this kind of opportunity? It's the difference between being an employee and being an owner, somebody who owns their own business.
And Patrick, I'm so glad you brought that out, because again, if you try to go get that associate's degree, they're going to spend just the same amount of money there to go to a school as they would becoming an ABS licensee. It's almost identical on the price.
Right, about $25,000. Right. So, folks, when you look at what we give you, the lifetime support that we have, the access to our web-based billing system, and all the free updates, unlimited users, all of that, folks, for the $25,000 fee, and that is the last penny that you will pay to American Business Systems. There are no other charges. You will never send us another dime. So it's a lifetime investment in your business, and you have lifetime support, ongoing webinars each week, and training that's unmatched in any franchise that's out there.
Yeah, and
again, Patrick.
Oh,
Hey, is that Cynthia?
It is. How
Hey,
are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, Cynthia, I want to put your picture on the screen here so people know who just jumped in on the call here. Folks, this is Cynthia Anderson. Cynthia is one of our licensees up in the Arizona area, and she's also our instructor that's going to be down here next week. So, welcome, Cynthia. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody. I am super excited to meet everybody next week. I talked to a couple of you on the phone, so I can't wait to meet you live in person. Next week, we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful week of a lot of good information.
Yeah, Cynthia, I wanted to kind of just briefly tell your story so they know that you're for real. Tell them your background and what you've done since you got in the business.
Absolutely, absolutely. I actually went through live training back in April of 2008. So I have been a licensee for a while. When I first got out there and built my business, I actually built it and I took on a business partner, built it really big, then broke away from him and then did it again and rebuilt it from scratch. Again, so I've done this twice now, and I will tell you, if those of you that are be coming next week, I remember what it was like sitting in that seat, going in training, and kind of weary about one big thing. And my big thing that I was afraid of is I had no billing experience whatsoever. So after I invested this good chunk of change in this opportunity, the biggest fear I had was not knowing anything about this industry and what did I get myself into. And I know, I was like, what did I do? What did I do? I can't believe
Yeah.
I just did this.
No, I see that on the faces of people who come to training even next
all the
week.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? I don't know anything about this, but yeah, that was me. That was me. And until I went to live training, and on that Friday when I was leaving, I was amazed, and I was kind of upset at myself. I was upset at myself for not doing this sooner. I literally was, because I looked at it for a long time before I decided, and I was kicking myself, saying, why the heck didn't I do this sooner? But you know what? Hindsight's 20/20, right? So it was definitely an eye-opening experience going through training and realizing that I didn't need medical experience or medical billing experience to be successful at this. Didn't need it at all.
Yeah. And let's see, I don't know what your background was before that, but I think you had indicated that you were still kind of worried, at least maybe midway through the week. Am I going to actually be able to get a client? We cover that pretty in depth, don't we, Cynthia? Now.
Well, you know, you're absolutely right. That's another, I mean, it's another fear is, well, how am I going to get a client not knowing anything about this industry? And how am I going to go out there and position myself as somebody who knows what I'm doing when I don't know what I'm doing? And
Right.
you're absolutely right. The majority of the training is talking about marketing methods that work in this industry, and specifically this industry, because I do have a marketing degree that I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on, and I will tell you, every marketing technique that ABS has taught me was not taught in my marketing degree at all. So it's
Yeah.
specific. It's specific to this industry. I mean,
Right.
what you learn in college is about multi-million-dollar companies marketing and getting, spending millions of dollars on Super Bowl ads and things like that. And that's not what we're all about. And it's completely different. As licensees, we're marketing to a very niche market, and unless you know the techniques and how to get in the door, then it's going to be difficult to be successful. And all of these techniques are taught in depth in this in the whole week training.
Hey, Cynthia,
Yeah,
I just glanced over and saw a question here from Suzanne. She says, how is it that Cynthia can run her business and find time to come down to teach for you?
That's a great question. That's the question of the day, right?
Yeah.
How can I do this running a big business? Well, because I have people. I have people doing most of the work for me. And when I say most, I've broken down my business into several tasks. And I pick and choose the tasks that I want to do, and I delegate and hire people to do the rest. And I can easily afford to do that with the business that I've built. Is I can easily afford to hire people to do the day-to-day operations for me when I want to leave town and go to Texas for a week, or if I want to go to Disneyland for a week, then I'm going to go to Disneyland for the week. And not only that, before I have people, I could travel. And Patrick, do you know how I could do that? How could I travel even though I didn't have people?
Because you had internet connection somewhere?
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Everything that we do is web-based. Every single system that we offer is web-based. So I could travel and still work if I wanted to. Right now, when I travel, I have a lot of my work done for me, but in the past, before I had people, I would still travel and just take my laptop with me, and as long as I had an internet connection, I could still do work. So right now, I do have people, but in the past, I didn't have people, and it took me a little while to get there. And in training, I'm going to actually tell you detail of when I hired my first person, when I knew to hire my first person, and tricks that you will need to look out for when you're going to be able to hire your first person, if you want to do that. I mean, that's the beauty behind this company and this license, is that you can build this as big or as little as you want. I mean, I personally have commercial office space because I have employees, but I did it at the beginning. I worked out of my home, and if you want to continue working out of your home and it just be you, then you can. You can do that. You can make this anything that you want. Anything that you want. If you want to just replace your income, you can do that. I personally replaced my income and my husband's income. He's staying at home with the kids now, and I'm able to hire staff. So that was my goal, and I met it.
Yeah, Cynthia, I just want to explain to people why we bring in somebody who is a real licensee. It's as you've seen from some of the pictures we've thrown up, folks. Eric, of course, is one of our instructors. I'm one of the instructors. We have others that come in from time to time, and even virtual instructors that show up via GoToMeeting during the class. But we have a lead instructor always who is a licensee. That's because I don't want you learning something that's just out of a book or in our heads, academic stuff. We want you to learn from somebody who's actually done it, who's out there doing it on a regular basis. And that's why we fly somebody like, and with all the cards on the table, of course we pay Cynthia for her time to come in here and do this. It's because it's very valuable for our licensees to hear from somebody who's actually out there in the business. So Cynthia, thank you for taking time to join us today. I appreciate you jumping in here.
Absolutely. One last thing I wanted to elaborate on the fact that you bring in actual licensees. You know what's very interesting? When I went through training, it was so funny. Some of the things that I remembered the most were literally the stories that the licensee told me about the current clients that she had. And which is why I will tell you stories of my successes, my failures, my everything, as well as teach you a lot of content. But you're absolutely right. It means something different when somebody's been out there and done that, kind of walk the walk instead of just teach from a book, like you said. So I'm out there now. I'm actually in my car right now because I just left an appointment, which I will tell you all about next week. So I'm out there doing it, which I got as a referral from a power partner. So I will discuss what that means because this is one of my favorite referral sources is a power partner. But anyways, but yeah, I'm out there doing that. I'm getting real life examples to share it with you during class so you can learn from the good things that I've done and the bad things that I've done, and I will share both.
Good. Cynthia, we're looking forward to seeing you. You be careful. Hope your flight is safe, and we'll see you Monday morning.
Excellent. You guys have a wonderful trip, too, and I will see you all next week.
Thanks,
Cynthia.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well,
Oh, well, that was pleasant. I had texted her earlier and just asked her to pop in sometime during the webinar, so that was as good a time as any, I guess.
that was great. I mean, because we are going to be talking about, I mean, Patrick, let's just get down to it. I think people understand that this is a good business to be in. But again, their two biggest fears is what Cynthia had mentioned. One was, how can I do this medical billing and learn this in 5 days? And then number two, how can I get clients? That's probably the biggest questions that we want to try to address today as much as we can within the next about 30 minutes that we have. So let's get right on in there. I mean, let's just talk about what they are going to learn during this week of training as we kind of move forward here. And one of the things that we're going to talk to them about is what's called this revenue cycle, the whole revenue cycle of the doctor's office there. Everything from the receivables to the to actually doing the claims, and so that's basically, Patrick, you want to take just a few minutes here, a few seconds here, and just kind of understand what revenue cycle is.
Yeah, for a doctor's office, doctors are not just focused on receiving that little $30 copay at the front desk. Of course, that they also receive money from Medicare and from the commercial insurance companies as well. And there are some self-pays, of course, people who don't have insurance and have to pay for it themselves. But all of that is what you see illustrated here, folks. And during the week, we go into detail about each one of these 6 items here so that you have a real good grasp as to what the doctors are facing out there, because folks, they are struggling right now. Some doctors are shutting down their practices because this revenue cycle is not what it should be. It's all out of whack. And you have the solutions for every one of the things that you see there. We're going to teach you about those, of course, during that week of training.
Yeah, and so that's what we're going to talk to you about today is what are you going to learn in this training class? And it really does begin with you becoming what we say, and Patrick says you're going to get a certificate, you're going to become a revenue cycle specialist, not just a medical biller.
Yeah, this term, revenue cycle, is very familiar to the doctors. They know that their office has money coming in from a variety of sources, the patients, the insurance companies, Medicare, and so forth. And so they think of it as being a business, even though you think of it as a medical practice. To them, it's a business. Now, the sad part is that everybody we talk to in our training classes who come through that do have some background in working for a doctor will tell you that it is a sad situation. They're not really the best business people out there, are they, Eric?
No, they're really not. And again, but whenever they get through, those that are coming to class as licensees, there's this mind shift, or this paradigm shift that happens that goes from just being a medical biller to revenue cycle specialist. And when we're talking in those terms, that's what's going to get the doctor's attention. And it all starts right here with the manual of what we go through of this student workshop manual.
Yeah, there's probably by the time you are finished with the week, you have a manual that's probably, I don't know, 200, 300 pages in-depth coverage of all these topics, folks. And we're going to go into some of these here as we continue on in the webinar. But Eric, I just want to point out I missed this while Cynthia was on the call. Nikhil
Oh, yes.
asked a question about how many doctors or accounts that she has. I don't remember what she said last time, and of course she could have more at this training, but I know it's enough to hire at least 3 people working for her, and so she's doing pretty well right now. She'll of course give you the exact numbers. I don't keep up with that, but sorry I missed that question, Nikhil. And the same thing, she also asked, do you have any accounts with any hospitals? I don't know if she has any hospitals that she's doing any of our services for, but in general, folks, you will not be billing for hospitals. Now, hospitals have their own billing system, completely different from medical doctors. So think of it this way. All of the medical specialties that you've heard out there, of all kinds, you can do the billing for, just not the hospitals. That's a completely different, separate thing.
But what they can do, though, is what we're showing here on this screen here. Everything from iClaim to electronic medical records is what EMR stands for, to Audit Guard and Code Right. Now those, Patrick, you might want to just explain that real quickly, that is our coders that we have available for our licensees.
Yeah, we have certified medical coders that can perform these services for you. In other words, folks, you are using these services to sometimes get your foot in the door and talk to a doctor about some needs that they have with the audits from Medicare, for example. That's a big, scary thing for doctors. We can help with that. Their codes, you're wondering how the codes work and how they come up with all the codes that they need and keep up with the correct codes. We have coders that can help with those things. You do not have to be a medical coder. And then the other four things you see on the bottom there, Quick Collect, Auto Card, Choice Pay, and Docs Now, we'll go into in-depth there in the training, of course, as to how you use those services to open some doors as well. But they're all covered, of course, in our virtual brochure. So be sure to go back to our website and engage with us on that, and you'll learn more about those.
Yeah, what's interesting, another question came in about can we bill for dental? Everything that you see on the top is all medical. And there is no medical dental billing that we can do. But everything that's on the bottom could be used at a dentist's office. Quick Collect, Auto Card, Choice Pay, iDocs Now. So again, although that we're very focused in on the medical field, where we're talking about doctors and surgeons and sleep centers, those are covered all with the billing side of everything, but we don't do dental billing. But there are some solutions that we still talk about that can be used even like at a dentist office.
Yeah, just so everybody listening knows, of course, it could be that Nikhil has talked to somebody who's indicated, well, if they can't do dental, then that's a big market that they can't go after. Folks, dental is a very, very small, tiny part of the billing market out there because, first of all, how many people do you know that have true dental insurance? Right. Then secondly, dentists don't see near as many patients as doctors do either. They have a completely different set of rules in making the payments for dental, and it's just not near as profitable as the medical field. Look, here's what I tell people. Go out and sign up all the doctors of all the specialties in your area, and you'll have plenty of business. You will not have to worry about the dental. It's not that big a slice of the market that's out there. Now, having said that, there are web-based systems that will allow you to do dental billing. We have connections with those resources out there that we can point you to as one of our licensees. We will still encourage you during the week of training to focus on the medical practices in your area. And believe me, there's sometimes thousands of them within a metropolitan area.
And Patrick, before we move from this slide, Delethea asked, does the $25,000 include access to each of the 8 modules?
Yes, there's no extra charge for anything that we're talking about here today. When you read our website and go through our virtual brochure, you'll see that all of this is included in that. That fee is a one-time, a lifetime fee. And in fact, Eric, we probably shouldn't say this because we're about to roll out a brand new service. In fact, we're having a webinar for our licensees day after tomorrow, Friday of this week. And it's a brand new service that nobody even knows about yet that we've come up with that will help licensees get into a doctor's office and solve another revenue problem that they have. That service is being offered to our licensees at a cost of absolutely nothing.
There you go. So that kind of takes care of what happens when we have future services as we go along. But
right.
But as we continue to keep moving through this, Patrick, these are the biggest things that we're going to talk about during our training. And as people are seeing this on the screen here, go ahead and pick out a couple of these that you want to just quickly go over here real quickly.
Yeah, now some of these, of course, are academic. When we go over to the overview of medical billing, we're going to go into some terminology and things like that. We're going to give you some hands-on using our system. Yes, we bring in the laptops, and you're connected live over the internet, just like you would be at home, actually doing billing. Well, it's fake billing. It's not a real doctor, of course. But we're going to let you actually do some, put in some patient information, put in some claims, and actually submit those claims in our demo system that we bring in. Then a lot of the things you see here, look, I can just glance at it and see we're also going to talk about the intro to marketing and the warm market. Then we go into business networking down here, our cash crunch to cash flow book marketing session. We've got marketing via classified ads. working with staff members, direct contact, trade shows. Look at all the different, here's educational events. Folks, all of these things have to do with how do you get a client. So there's a half a dozen things there that we're going to go through in detail, specifically how they apply to this business. There's email marketing, direct mail marketing, all sorts of things that are not even on this list because we just kind of put a partial list up here.
Yeah, and instead of just looking at it with words, we've kind of got this next slide up here, and this is kind of what, in a nutshell, everything that's going to be covered, even like next week. I mean, we've kind of just smorgasborded it the best we could right up here on the screen as best to kind of give a visual of what they're going to go through.
Denise is asking where the training's held and when. It's held right here in Dallas at a Marriott Suites, Spring Hill Suites Hotel, close to the DFW airport. And it's held right here in Dallas. And when, of course, we showed it at the very beginning there. Denise may have come in late, but when's the next one? May 19th.
Yes, we've got that at the very end. We'll put that back up on the screen. But kind of going real quickly to the one of the biggest fears again that Cynthia had about how are we going to learn about medical billing. Folks, we're going to take you from what you see here, which is what's called a paper super bill. We're going to take you from that beginning and get you over to actually inputting that into the iClaim system. Patrick mentioned to you that we're going to do a hands-on training, and I think we've got another screenshot here actually of one that's actually going on in one of our previous training classes. So, folks, we're gonna handhold you through at least this process, and we do this on day 1 and 2. Isn't that correct, Patrick?
Yes, we decided that people were nervous about whether or not the system was easy to use and whether they could learn how to do medical billing. And so we just jump them right in there that very first day, getting that hands-on experience. They love it. Lots of group dynamics during that week, of course, interaction with other people who are there to start their business. Some of you saw pictures at the beginning there of one of our classes. I think I counted, Eric, the picture of you standing up front. I think there were only 14 people in that class. Now, this class is like you said, sold out. There are 21 people, actually. We're squeezing that one extra person in. The room literally holds about 20, but it's going to be a packed room, which is great because there's that much more interaction between people. You get to know people who are going to become, well, basically they become your support network when you leave. And they'll be asking questions that you probably wouldn't think of, and so it's good to hear other people's questions too.
Well, that's why it's important, and that's why we have the live training, because of these group dynamics. I mean, we know of people that actually teach online, one-on-one with you, and it's just like, oh my goodness, you can't learn that way. And Patrick, we know, as being the trainers that we have been in the past, that we certainly know that the dynamics of live training, and that's why we do this. And gosh, we've been doing this for years now.
Yeah, it's because we know that what you need to hear is somebody who's actually been out there and done it. Now, remember, my wife and I started doing medical billing back in 1987. That's 24 or 5 years ago. It's a long time ago, and that's when most doctors were still doing it on paper. So you're hearing from me because I developed the initial marketing tools to help me get in the door to see doctors and build our business. And then we've passed those on and we've refined them and we've tuned them and we've added new ones. People like Cynthia come in and they tell us some different things that they're doing to get business. And so we incorporate all that into the training throughout the whole week. Eric has been out there, of course, as our research and development director, actually doing some of the things that we've tested and then brought into the classroom. So, Eric, you've actually met with a doctor here recently, didn't you?
Yeah, and we still meet with doctors. We meet with doctors with licensees, those that we can help here locally. We certainly get opportunities to do that once in a while. But that doesn't stop us. You know as that well as I do, we actually meet with licensees and their doctors via go-to meetings, like we're doing here with the go-to webinar. So distance is not a factor with us. We're here to help you from day one, getting your hands on the computers themselves, all the way sometimes to helping you get that doctor signed up.
Yeah, we even have breakout sessions. We let people volunteer. Let me emphasize, you're never asked to get up and say something unless you want to, but there are people who will volunteer to share the results of the studies that they've had with other people. We do actual exercises and have people explain, how did you get to a certain price, for example, as to what you were going to charge that particular doctor. So folks, in the true sense of a word, this is a hands-on real workshop, not just lecture. That could be boring. Believe me, by the end of every day, you will go, what? The day is over? Isn't that
Right.
true, Eric?
It is. And this really is showing, just a sample. I wish we could show a video of it. Maybe one day when technology gets a little bit better for us, we'll do that. But this is, a lot of people ask, well, Patrick, isn't this a big rah-rah week? I mean, you get all these people pumped up about medical billing and their new position.
Hey,
we're showing you pictures of actually what we're teaching them and taking them through.
If people want pump, I could give them pump. Believe me, I've pumped a lot of people up over the years in my public speaking. But folks, that's not what this week is all about. By this week, you've made the decision to get into our business. Now we've got to give you the tools that get you out there so that you can actually start your business. And one of the reasons for that is because, as you'll see, we cover this a little bit later, we have 100% money back guarantee. That's what it's up there in the corner during this whole webinar saying. It's 100% guaranteed. And that means we've got to do a good job during that week. Hey, Eric, can I ask a couple of questions here?
Yeah, let's go.
I keep looking over here to the side. I know people are wondering why I'm not looking at the camera. I'm reading the questions that are coming in here live. One of them is from Monica. She says, has the ICD-10 delay affected business in any way? Now, let me define that for people. You've heard of medical billing and coding, right? The coding has to do with the codes that are used, in this case, the diagnostic codes that the doctors use to define what is wrong with somebody. Well, those codes are changed from time to time. There's a huge change coming in the ICD-10 codes from ICD-9, so the new version or ICD-10. And that change was originally supposed to happen October 1st of this year. Now, Eric, it's still up to the president, of course. It's been passed, but the president still has the right to line veto something, so he could change that and keep it this year. But for now, it's been delayed another year. That's just typical of the government, isn't it? I guess he's gone for now. I don't know. Looks like he's gone, doesn't he? Yes, in fact, his video is gone. So I guess I got it to myself, don't I? Well, so let me just go into that just a little bit detail by saying this. The question is that going to hurt the business or help it? It's good because we have another, if it's delayed for another year, we have another year to work with doctors to try to get them ready for that. And the great thing is, folks, that our system is ICD-10 ready. The codes are already in our iClaim web-based billing system. So if the doctors don't know how to get ready for that, they don't have to do anything but to engage with you, let you do the billing, and the codes are already handled automatically in our system for us. Let's see. What is the success rate? This is from Delethea. What is the success rate of the licensees who have purchased the system? Delethea, the success rate is exactly 100%. That's right. Everybody who goes from our class and does what we tell them to do eventually builds their business. Now, the success is defined differently by different people. So let me define that. We have people who get 1 or 2 clients and they're happy with that. It's added another, $30, $40, $50,000 to their income for the year, and they don't work near as hard as they used to. They don't want to build it any bigger than that. Then we have businesses like a couple of licensees that I can think of that have got 7-figure revenues in this business, so they can build it as big as they want to. So it all boils down to this. I'm not trying to avoid your question, but we don't have any percentages on that because licensees have different services. Some of them are offering several of our auxiliary services, for example, and haven't got a billing client yet. That doesn't mean they're not successful. They're making money, and it's just a matter of time when some of those doctors will actually let them do the billing. So everybody's at a different stage in their growth. It's just like the old 80-20 rule that you've always heard of in any business, folks. There will always be 20% of any group of people who are bringing 80% of the volume into the business. And then the other 80% of the people bring the 20% that's left in volume. we have the same statistics going with our business as any other business. Um, okay, and then Nikhil says, does the package include customized website for the individual business owner? Yes, that's covered in our virtual brochure there, Nikhil. We go into detail about the fact that we do include a website for you, pre-built with all the services described and all the graphics, and we set it up for you automatically. Now, I think there are things happening on the screen that I am not doing. So I'm assuming
Yep, I'm back.
that
I think
Eric's
I
back.
lost the internet there just for a brief moment, but you were talking about the web marketing there, and certainly wanted to get to the part where we showed a few of the templates that people can choose from for their website.
Yeah, and of course we also go into web marketing in the class when we talk about the social marketing, networking marketing out there on the feed, Facebook, and we've got Meetup, and all of those different things that you can use out there to engage socially with people. Of course, we're going to teach you about LinkedIn and all those good sites out there that help you expand your business within your own community.
That's right, and I think let's talk real quickly too about the email marketing. I know that there's a lot of things going on there about email marketing, things that you should do, things that you shouldn't do. So again, folks, when we're getting into what you need to do to go get those clients. Now, you heard Cynthia talk about what her other fear was getting those clients. That's what we're here and helping about. And again, Patrick, they can choose any type of marketing scenario that they want to. But which one you choose, it's so important that you stick with that one. Would you agree with that, Patrick?
Yes, in fact, that's why we give you so many different choices. Look, everybody has a different budget for marketing, a different time schedule. Some people are working this part-time, some full-time. So you have to pick and choose the things that fit your particular lifestyle. Email marketing is great because, first of all, it's very inexpensive, and it's a great way to get your name out. We're going to show you how to gather the names, the email addresses, to be able to send those blasts out to your community, and then what to say in those emails to actually get people to respond and get you engaged with them in what we call the free practice analysis, which we'll talk about here in a moment.
Now, Patrick, talk about a little bit about this thing called drip marketing, and I mean this is one where we know directly how some licensees have just gotten their clients by using this direct mailing. I know a lot of people are a little afraid about direct mail marketing, but talk about at least the experiences that you've heard with some of the licensees.
Well, direct mail is notorious for being, number one, expensive, and number two, not getting a very good response. The average direct mail marketing campaign might get 1 to 2% response, which is good. That means 2 out of 100 mailing pieces that you send out, somebody responds to you in some way. Folks, we've had up to 10 and 12% response on some of ours because we teach you how to do direct mail the correct way, aimed at the right people, knowing exactly what kind of marketing to use. We already have the cards, as you can see here. These are greeting cards that are pre-designed in an online system that you simply click a button, put somebody's email address in and address, and they get these in the mail. These are printed full-color cards that they actually get in the mail once a month, for example, called campaigns. So we'll teach you exactly how to use direct mail marketing as well as email marketing, of course. It's still very, very useful, and we've had licensees say that they've gotten accounts just because they put somebody on a campaign, forgot about it, and then 5-6 months later they've gotten a call from somebody.
That we know of one licensee that just said that office manager told them, you must be a marketing genius by what you guys been able to do. You stayed in what she said, in our face, basically, just always there.
Right.
But done professionally, very professionally.
Yeah.
Now, Patrick, Cynthia talked about a power referral partner. I'm sure she got it through these business networking.
Yes, this is a huge part of what we teach during the week, folks. An in-depth session on this because business networking is one of those things a lot of people are not familiar with. They're kind of scared. They think it's something that they can't do. And so we're going to teach you why this could be the marketing. Oh, sorry, I pushed the button there too, Eric. Why this could be your only marketing method that you ever have to use. Why this works so well. We'll give you the best places to network, how to find groups in your area, and the professional associations in your area that you need to plug into, because by letting the community know what you do, and that you're a local office that's just opened up, part of the nation's largest network of independent medical billing companies in the world, this is how you can build your business very quickly, folks, outside regular business hours, by the way, and for very little cost.
Yeah, and I tell you, I think so many licensees get referrals, and and I know, if we get a referral from someone, that's a better lead than just going out there and trying just to go drum it up on your own. So
Absolutely.
this is a great way to do it. Now, Patrick, just as a FYI, we've got about 5 more minutes to the presentation today. So you just jump to wherever you think the most important information is from here on out.
Okay, I'm going to move right through it. Fred, I see your question there, and Delitha, I see your next question as well. So let me get to some more things here, and we'll cover those. Trade show marketing. Folks, there are trade shows going on in your city right now as we speak. We're going to show you how to locate those trade shows. They don't have to be medical trade shows, by the way. And we'll show you how, using our pre-designed displays that you see here, you can simply have us ship those to your trade show, put them up. We'll show you how to do it, how to find people, what to say, what to give out, how to gather names while you're there, and how to follow up on that as well. We have a tabletop. I don't know how I went backwards there. Let me click that again. Yeah, we have a full that'll fill up a whole 10 by 10 booth, as you can see on the left there. On the right is a tabletop version of that, so you can use that even in a chamber of commerce meeting and things like that. A wonderful way to have people come to you and you engage with people. We'll show you exactly how to hold those, and again, what your people should say. These are some examples of people, licensees. Some of our licensees were actually using that booth to do those trade shows out there.
And I know, Patrick, some people might like to use sales reps. Let's talk real briefly about that.
Yeah, I tell people, if you don't have the time or the inclination to do any marketing yourself, believe it or not, there are people in your area right now that we're going to show you how to find. We'll show you how to find those people, how to interview those people, how to hire those people, and how to train them even, and what to pay them. And they work, by the way, on commission only. So it's really easy to find people who want to do that because they can build up residual income, building their own business within your business, so to speak. So sales reps, great part of the week. Ours is a consultative marketing that we teach, folks, not any kind of sales that you're normally thinking of as sales. In fact, people who come to our training and have sales experience, we tell them, forget everything you know and just listen to what we say, because we figured out how to do it right. We do a practice analysis. You're looking at a couple of pages of a 3-page now questionnaire that we've come up with that we teach you how to go out and get that information. Questions that you'll ask the doctor, like, is your current system server-based or web-based? How many claims do you do a month? What are you currently spending on your billing? That's the kind of information that we get from them, and show you how to go back and put that into software that prints out a report that tells that person exactly what you're going to do for them to solve their cash flow problems. Here's a sample, for example, of a template of a proposal that we help you prepare. We go through this in class in depth and show you exactly what it's all about and how you can present that to the doctor in a nice presentation folder, showing that you are the professional, the expert in the area. You're not going to look like you work out of your home, folks. You're going to look like you really are a part of something that's nationwide. And then Eric.
And Patrick, I was going to say, this is probably the cream of the crop here. Is what we do for our licensees is the demos.
Yeah, tell them about those.
Yeah, this is where, as we're doing this today, we're operating via GoToWebinar. We will start up a GoTo meeting, and like I said earlier, we will work with you, working with your medical doctor and us. Now, we put the word us up there because we don't want we don't even want anybody to know that we're with American Business Systems. We are your support team. And really the way that this works is we're going to put this up on the screen here. You will see that we're, if you'll kind of watch the monitor to your left there, we do all the demonstration portions of that, showing the doctor exactly what needs to be done. And you're on there as you see the couple up above there. And then the next thing you hear is the doctor go, wow, this is pretty impressive stuff. And that's what we want to do and help you get to the point of you're confident working with American Business Systems. That's how we can get you within, 30, 40, 60 days, look like you've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because it's this relationship that we're working with you doing these demos.
Yeah, folks, I don't know of any other company in any franchise or business opportunity out there that does what ABS does, and that is we do the demos of the system and answer all the questions for the doctor. All you're there is as an observer, just as you are today. And we even sometimes turn on the camera so that our demonstrator, the technical person, can be talking directly to the doctor, just like I am here on the video and like Eric was before he disappeared.
I turned mine off because I was having a little bit of bandwidth problem over here. But kind of, Patrick, as we wrap this thing up, we've had that little icon up at the top there about 100% money back guarantee. So I'm going to let you take it from here on this next slide here.
Yeah, folks, we decided at one point as a company that the best way to help people make a decision as to whether what we're saying is true, well, first of all, you can call some of our licensees and speak directly with them. But even at that point, if you're still not sure, we give you this assurance that you can come down here for this week of training. And during that week, at any time, for any reason, you don't think the business is right for you, just tell any of our staff members and they'll arrange for you to receive a full refund of your licensee fee. In other words, 100% of the money that you've paid to us is refunded back to you. Now, we can't refund your travel or your hotel bill, but that's a small investment for anybody to check a business out and to find out what it's all about. The reason we do that, of course, is because nobody takes us up on that. But it's there. The money is held in an attorney's trust fund until you've decided at the end of the week that this is really something that you want to get involved in. So there it is.
Yep, there it is. And if someone is asking about our next training date, is May the 19th through the 23rd. So be sure to take down our phone number if you haven't already called us yet. I know, Patrick, we want to try to get in and maybe squeeze in just a few more questions here. I know we kind of gone over just a little bit at the top of the hour, but we'll certainly take a few questions here. Any questions that we can't get to today, your ABS rep will certainly go through that with you. So, Patrick, do you see any questions here that we want to just kind of go over real quickly?
Yes, I'd like to answer Fred's question here. He says, hello, other than the cost of joining and the training, how does ABS make money? Fred, we actually set the company up and modeled it so that when a licensee becomes a licensee, they don't ever have to pay us another penny. But we have partnered with technology partners who provide some of the services that you saw here today on the webinar, and they give us a rebate check at the end of the month based on the volume of business that we've brought to them through our licensees. So it's just like if you go buy a car, the dealer gets a rebate check from Chrysler or Mercedes or whoever on the back end that you may not even know about. But we tell you that up front so you know that we do make money even after you're a licensee, and that keeps us happy, and that keeps you happy, and that keeps us in business. So that's what that's all about. Then the last one I think we have time for right here is Fred's also asking, will the doctor also have online access to his billing account that I manage? And what will he be able to do on that account? Yes, Fred, you as the administrator of the account can give passwords and IDs to as many people as you wish, including the doctor. And you have the right to restrict their access to just the things that you know that you want them to have access to. So that's all in your capabilities as the administrator of the system. So, okay, well, Eric,
there you go. Yeah.
Thanks for folks. I know we didn't get to all the questions this week, but believe me, that's because we try to limit these to the 1 hour time period there. So if you still have questions that we haven't addressed, There's our phone number. Call in and ask for whoever your rep is. We're not here to sell you anything. We're here to answer your questions. So just ask all the questions you want, and we'll leave it up to you as to whether this is the right decision for you. I hope I see all of you at one of our upcoming live training workshops, though.